Hello, it's Ryan from 2minutetennis.net, and in this video, I'm going to compare the technique Roger Federer uses on his down the tee and out wide serves. This is a hot topic. People have been asking for this. I'm super excited to give this to you. Now, this video is courtesy of 12KGP Tennis on YouTube. Make sure you subscribe to his awesome channel. I have put his link in the description below. Now, first I'll show you, this is his tee serve, and this is his out wide serve, and I'll show you the serves first. He's just playing against Cameron Norrie here at Indian Wells, just on a practice court. There's an ace right down the tee that's untouchable. And here is Federer's out wide serve. And Norrie actually cannot return that ball as well. So just so you know, we are showing you the wide and tee serve technique. Now, at first glance, it's pretty tough to know which is which. I mean, from his coiling to the toss being in a very similar place, keeping his body sideways. This is a really important idea, is you want to keep your body facing to the side on your serves. Don't rotate and face the net at contact. Keep your body facing side. The absolute best of the best servers will do this. Keep your body to the side. It's a reactive break, helps you serve so much faster. From the pronation, you can see that on neither serve is he swinging toward his target. He's swinging toward these people over here sitting on the bench. So his racket's actually tracking out to the right of the target. Just helps to make sure that you're hitting side spin on the ball, and it's really indicative of keeping the body to the side. To landing, like, man, no wonder he has, the third most aces, I think, of all time, but he's definitely one of the ace leaders all time. It's so difficult to know what he's going to do from serve to serve, but I want to show you some little differences here, and it has to do with his racket position. If we zoom in here, remember, this is the tee serve, and this is the out wide serve. So let's look at his racket. Notice his racket already looks different. So here it looks pretty much the same, but here we get to see our first real difference. Now, the angle of the racket out of his hand, very similar. We can see, his left arm is starting to tuck in against his body. His head is facing up, toward the ball. His chest is facing up to the right as well. But notice here we can only see the edge of his racket, where here we're actually looking at the back of his strings. That is, the strings that we see right here are actually not the strings he's going to use to hit the ball. So his strings are very much facing down at this point. And this is really where the start of the differences are, right? So from these two serves, let me just draw it here on this side. A serve that goes down the tee and a serve that goes out wide. The difference is about 10 degrees. So he has to make up for that with his racket face. And this is actually the beginning of this. Watch his racket as he goes from frame to frame. We can see more of the strings on this side than on this side. He's going to be staying on edge longer on the serve that's down the tee. And that's making sense because he needs his strings to face more toward the tee rather than out wide. And as he goes from frame to frame, here his strings are facing directly off to the side. Here his strings are facing ever so slightly closed. Each frame, it's different. It's just remarkable that he has this amount of control of his racket face. Here, his strings are facing up just slightly. Here, his strings are facing basically off to the side, but there is a clear difference in where his strings are pointing. This is what accounts for contact and the strings facing down the tee and out wide. If you want the ball to go to a certain spot, you have to make sure that your strings are facing to that spot. And when it comes to using a motion that is very similar from serve to serve, what is going to be the difference is delaying presenting the strings to the ball. And what I mean by that is, as he's going up to the ball, and I'll show you this, I'll separate the videos now. As he's swinging up on the slice serve, he's staying on edge longer. And it's microscopic, the difference, but he's staying on edge slightly longer, delaying the pronation so that his racket, when he gets to the ball, has the strings facing more to the tee. And when he is going up to hit the out wide serve, he's presenting the strings. He's not going palm up, but he's slightly early, fractionally earlier with his presentation of the strings to the ball. And that is what is going to get his ball to go out wide rather than down the tee. It's these little differences that are going to make for the ability to hit an out wide serve compared to a down the tee serve. So how can you practice this? You can lead with the edge and see what it feels like to stay on edge longer, where you truly are leading with the edge, where you feel like you're going to chop the ball in half. And if you're right-handed, you're going to notice that the ball really curves and curves left. And then what you want to feel is, as you're going up to the ball, you are starting to turn the racket face a little earlier to get a little flatter into the back of the ball, so that way the ball will have a little less spin. And now you're getting, if this was a mirror, you get the mirror's reflection actually pointing out wide. On his down the tee serve, when he's striking this ball, if his racket were a mirror, the reflection is facing more down the tee. The difference is when you begin turning the racket. And we saw the actual first difference right here. It was at this moment that we realized, wow, this serve is out wide and this serve is down the tee. Because on this serve, on his out wide serve, he has already begun the process of making sure that his racket is going to start getting more square against the back of the ball in order to point the strings out wide. Where here he's going to be leading longer with the edge. And this is from years and years of experience. You can't just do this in one day and learn this. This is when you begin the process of turning the pronation. Now, here's the one thing into the ball. Here's something that's really, really cool. Because of the delayed pronation and then the very dynamic and active movement to pronate, look how on the down the tee serve, and remember, this is the down the tee serve. Notice that his racket actually pronates farther with a more dramatic post-contact pronation. And that's just because a body motion tends to stay in motion. So once he starts pronating, it just keeps turning. So look how his racket is actually facing slightly up when he's done. You see this with John Isner as well. But watch on the out wide serve. Notice this is the out wide serve. Notice on the out wide serve, his racket, because it was not delayed in the pronation wasn't as late, so it didn't have to happen as fast. So watch how his racket, when he's done in this exact same place, is actually facing slightly down. You will actually pronate more if you do it like Federer. You will actually pronate more after you hit the ball on a very slice serve down the tee on the ad side, because it is a very fast movement to quick square up the racket to face the strings to where he wants the ball to go. And that active movement actually results in more pronation after contact. Now, before I show you how you can practice this at home, I want to remind you that if you would like me to personally fix your technique, your serve, your forehand, your backhand, your net game, or you would like me to watch you play matches and help analyze and dissect your court positioning, your shot selection, and your strategy, go to 2minutetennis.net right now and book a live Zoom lesson for the two of us. You pick the time that's convenient for you for that Zoom lesson. You get a recording afterward. I can promise you it is the best tennis lesson you will ever take. So go to 2minutetennis.net to book your Zoom lesson right now. Well, maybe after this video. All right, so I just took a tennis ball. You might remember this from the videos I've been showing you how you can practice volleys at home. So we just got a little, foam ball hanging from the ceiling with a string. This is the basement. It's got a drop ceiling, so I can just put the string under there. I drop the panel down, and then it holds it. So what we saw with Federer's serve was both the tee serve and the out wide serve, the body was sideways at contact. So you don't want to be facing your target when you're hitting your serve. You want to be sideways. So I'm going to kneel here so that I can have it be, at my extension. When we saw him hit the tee serve, what we saw was his racket stay on edge longer. And when he hit the out wide serve, which means he's trying to hit the ball more to the right, his racket began opening up a little bit earlier. That's the difference. The difference isn't where the body faces. On all serves, you want to have your body staying to the side. But the key is where your strings point when you hit the ball. So when he's hitting his T serve, he needs his racket to look like this. When he's hitting his flat serve, or not flat serve, but the out wide serve, I meant to say, when he's hitting his out wide serve, he needs his racket to look like this. So this is down the tee, and this is out wide. The difference is about 10 degrees. That's the difference between the tee and the out wide. So how do we do that? And what you can practice is when you come around to hit your down the tee serve on the ad side, and by the way, this correlates with the out wide serve on the deuce side, if you're right-handed. When you come up to hit, you want to have the feeling like you're going to hit the ball with the back of the strings, that you keep your non-hitting hand up, you knock off the party hat, you come around, and as your elbow drives up and your body drives up, your racket is going to be slightly closed at this point. What I want you to feel is like you're actually going to be hitting the back of the strings. Now, you obviously won't do that. When I mean the back of the strings, I mean where the knuckle is, right? Where the knuckles are. When you come around in this position, you look at Isner, you look at Federer, their racket is closed at this point. That's where we saw Federer then begin to turn, but he stayed on edge and he presented his strings to that position, what looked to be very late, right? Well, when he was hitting out wide, he wasn't as closed. Here he was like this because he was already thinking, all right, I have to be able to turn my racket and get the strings to face actually out wide. So you can practice keeping your strings pointing down and then turning at the last second, or not having your racket point down at this point, right? That's the feeling. And you're more on edge at this point, then you start to turn and then your racket gets out wide. So I'm going to test you, right? I'm going to demonstrate a serve. I'm going to mimic Federer's motion as best I can. And I want you to tell me if this is an out wide serve or a down the tee serve. You ready? That would be down the tee. How about this one? I tried to fool you. That was down the tee again. How about this one? That's out wide. The difference in the tee serve and out wide serve on the ad side for a right-hander is exactly that. It's the exact same thing for the out wide and down the tee on the deuce side. When you're on the deuce side, the out wide serve on the deuce side will use the same timing as the tee serve on the ad side. And the tee serve on the deuce side will use the same racket timing and rotation and pronation as the out wide serve on the ad side. I don't want you changing where your body is facing. If you're right-handed, swing off to the right of your target. The difference is going to be the angle of the racket and as you present the racket into the ball. If you work on this type of timing and staying on edge a little longer on that tee serve when you're on the ad side and the out wide serve when you're on the deuce side, there is no doubt you're going to gain confidence, win more matches, and play much better tennis. This is Ryan Reedy from 2minutetennis.net. You got this.